podcast is the forum where great speakers can connect and get their new message out. If they have a new book, a new story, a new way that they want to connect with people, this is the medium that you should be on to make sure that you get your name out there. And speakers can use this platform to give a little dose of their message, and then amazingly have all these other podcasters help promote you. We're going to finish this episode. Your team is going to put my picture up and promote this episode across the podcast sphere. What better way to promote yourself when you're trying to get more speaking gigs than to have somebody else do it for you? So I always state this: take advantage and be the guest that you want to be in that seat. And another key tip that I always give, if you're going to be a guest, is to try and get hired as a speaker and sit in that guest seat. 2 big tips. 1, be spectacular. Remember, when you step on stage and you give a speech for 30 minutes, maybe there's 400, 500 people in the audience or more, if you're lucky, that get a chance to hear it. And sure, it might be recorded and videotaped, and you will then edit it down to a 30-second or 4-second clip in your sizzle reel on your website. But the podcast interview, and all those different podcasts that have been years, is out there in perpetuity, forever, and anyone can hear your message wherever you go, which is just absolutely awesome that your message is actually more important on a podcast than it is on a keynote, because more people will hear it than those that will actually hear you on the stage that you went to go speak on. Right. So the reality is that the people who have a greater likelihood of hiring you are going to hear you on a podcast more so than they hear you on a stage. So 1, be spectacular. And 2, the big part that I think is so important for every single podcast, every single opportunity as a speaker to be a podcast guest, is that you must remember this lesson. It's more important that they know that the podcast happened than whether they listen to it or not.